on to our 9:10, which is presentation of employee service awards. This item will be, I'll give it to the CAO.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to introduce Pam Samek from Human Resources, and she will be making the presentations today to recognize employees.
Good morning, Pam Samek, Human Resources Director. I also have Diana Rico, Deputy Director, with us. Twice a year, we honor our employees, and so we will be having each department head come up to honor their department employees and read the names. We'll call you in alphabetical order. First up. Okay.
Have you leaning over?
Thank.
That's straighter.
All right. Great.
Yeah, you look a little more comfortable.
Thank you. First up is Rich Ford from the Assessor Recorder's office.
Great. In our department, we're actually doing this by Zoom. And first up is Michelle Buganani, and she's been here 5 years. And she is actually an appraiser too, and she has done a lot of professional growth with our department, professional and personal, has achieved a lot as far as training and certifications. And she has spent most of those 5 years with us. So thank you very much for your service. And are we going to move on to the next slide, I'm thinking? There we go. So Brian Llewellyn is our cadastral person. He's also been with us 5 years. All those 5 years with our department, has done a tremendous amount of cleanup and progression with our cadastral, and has had tremendous personal growth. And we thank so much for his service for our department and for the county. Thanks, Ryan. Next up is Landai. She's been with us 10 years. And for the most part, she's been with me almost the entire time of those 10 years. She has actually had tremendous professional growth and actually is our chief at this point. Started off as an appraiser aide, and she has done tremendous things professional. She has actually just achieved advanced appraiser during that time. And again, we really appreciate her service and appreciate all three of the people that achieved years of service. We have a great department, and these are just a great sampling of example of what's in our department. Thanks a lot, Landai.
Next, we have the Auditor Controller, Kathy Saderlin. We have Max Beard, who's been here 5 years.
Good morning, Board. Hopefully you can hear me now. I was just unmuted. So thank you, Board, for allowing the opportunity to highlight the dedicated county workforce. So you see Max's picture here, and today we're recognizing Max Beard for 5 years of county service. And Max began his employment with the county in special districts. He promoted to administration, and he's been a valued member of the Auditor Controller County Clerk team for almost 2 years now. So thank you, Max, for your dedicated service.
Next, I'd like to call up Todd Metcalf from Behavioral Health to honor his employees.
Thank you, Pam. We have 3 folks that we would like to celebrate 5 years of service with Behavioral Services, starting with Christine Andrus, our fiscal program manager. Thank you, Chrissy, for hanging in here these last 5 years. Next, we have Michael Moss. Oh, yes. She does deserve a round of applause. Actually, they all do. Michael Moss, our prevention specialist. I don't know how we could do the work we're doing without him. He is an extremely dedicated and passionate employee, amazing man, and thank you also, Michael, for hanging in here these last 5 years. Melissa Poplin, Staff Services Analyst 2. Also, another amazing, passionate, and dedicated employee helping us get our data together. I know some of you on the board are interested in that. So I want to thank Melissa for also sticking around for 5 years. Hopefully 5 years more, or more. Anyway, thank you.
Next, we have Gail Woodward, Child Support Director. Is she in Zoom?
Nope.
Okay. All right, well, we have Julie Vargo, who's been here 20 years. And Rosario Santana, who's been here 25 years. Next, we have Maria Turner, CDD Director.
Good morning. It's my honor to honor a couple of our employees for 5 years. Eric Porter from the Planning Division. He is a solid, experienced planner who takes more than his fair share of the workload in planning. My favorite part about Eric, now that I'm back in the department, is he doesn't just accept what I say because that's what I say. So we end up having these really great planning discussions, which I think the collaborative approach in planning ends up with a much better product for public service. And so I really value Eric. Tina is a dynamic member of our code enforcement team. We are so glad to have her back after she's been gone for just a little while, and she has just picked up and run with all the tasks that were waiting for her. One thing about Tina is, one second she's like a force of nature. She's just a strong personality, and then the next minute she's like laughing at something and just has like the joy of a child in her face. And I think it's all this multifaceted parts that make her her that actually benefit her out in the field. Because one of the things that code enforcement leads with first when we do our outreach is to bring people into self-abatement. And it's her non-judgmental, meet you where you are, let's get you to where you need to go kind of attitude, I think, that is so powerful for code enforcement and for our community. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call the District Attorney, Susan Cronus, to honor her employees.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm thrilled to honor these wonderful workers in the office and the DA's office for their service. It's been, they're all incredible people. So first of all, 10 years, Gloria Gregor, and she is a staff service analyst. She was in our office many, many years ago, and we just recently had her come back to our office. We're so excited that she's back. She knows so much about the way that to present services, and she has a wealth of information over the years when she was in the sheriff's office as well as now in our office. So we're very excited that she's back. So thank you so much. We have next 15 years, Crystal Martin, and she's our victim witness program administrator. She is a force of nature, really. She is so passionate about serving this community, especially children who are victims, and she is so compassionate with people every day. and she has so much patience as well with people. So she is just really thrilled to have her as the administrator of the Victim Witness Office. She is, I go to her for advice all the time. So thank you, Crystal.
I see Ms. Rico is ready to hand stuff out. Nobody's coming up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, come up and get your swag.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
And so next we have John Greger, who has 20 years. He is currently in our office as a DA investigator. He recently came over from the sheriff's office. Sorry, Brian. But I just remember first meeting John when I was a deputy district attorney, and he was handling several cases, and I was so impressed by him. He knew what he was doing. He had all the answers. He was experienced and very, very professional, and he's always been that way. So he's in our office as an investigator, and he is basically just going in full force, helping our deputy district attorneys prepare their cases, very serious cases too. So thank you so much, John.
Thank you for your service. If Gloria? Yeah. I'm like, they're here, but nobody's coming out. Thank you for your service.
Okay, up next we have Rachel. I know her as Rachel Abelson. That's her court name, so her office name. So she has 20 years. She's a senior deputy district attorney, and I can't say enough about how much I appreciate her work every day in the office. She volunteers to take on tasks when I'm away, when my chief's away. She prepares schedules and everything. She has a wealth of experience. Everybody is always going to her and asking questions about legal issues, and she's dealt with them. If it's a legal issue, she's dealt with it. And she's so helpful to everybody in the office, and she's an excellent prosecutor. She has prosecuted and won major cases, including a murder case, as well as financial cases that involve a lot of records. I hate those cases, but she does a great job. So Rachel, come on up here. Thank you so much for 20 years. And we also have Tracy Davis with 25 years as a legal administrative assistant in our office. She, I think she came to our office, I was in the family support division, and she came into the office, I think a year before I came into the criminal division. She is a wealth of information, and I have to say, she has so much patience with the attorneys when we give her last minute stuff. You just go to her and say, I need this in court, like in 10 minutes, and she does it. She knows how to do so much in the office. You don't have to tell her twice. She's so efficient, and she has saved lots of attorneys' behinds so many times. So she is so faithful to the office, and we greatly appreciate her. So Tracy, come on up.
Thank you for your service.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Shane French with IT.
Well, good morning. We have Angel Perez, who is an information systems analyst. He's been with us for the 5 years. And, you know, talk about somebody who is the definition of a team player, always willing to just jump right into whatever's thrown at him, never a complaint, and just has such a great attitude about everything that we do. And it's not always easy because we're a small department and everybody has to carry a big load. So I really appreciate him.
Next, we have Christopher with the library.
Hello, so today we're honoring Barbara Green, who has 15 years of service at the library as a library technician supervisor. Barbara does a huge variety of wonderful and very important tasks at the library, but probably her most important is leading weekly story times. Just this year, she passed 50,000 attendees at her weekly story times, and that's inspiring young kids to read. So we really appreciate everything Barbara does for our community.
Thank you so much for your service. Next, we'll be doing probation. Chief Rob Howe.
Good morning, Board. First, I have Cindy Rodriguez for 5 years of service. Cindy's actually benefited a few departments. She came to us fairly recently after serving Todd very well for, I think, the first 4 years of her career. She was kind of thrown into the fire with us doing much of our financial work. She's doing a great job. She's a staff services analyst, senior promoted from staff services analyst, doing a great job. So thank her. And in 20 years, we have Ming Chao Chang, another one who's benefited multiple departments in our county. She spent the bulk of her career with county council before coming to us, I believe, in 2017. She came over as a legal secretary back when that's what it was called, and now she's a legal administrative assistant. And just like to thank both of them and everybody here. You know, our long-term employees are our foundation. We know we talk about recruitment and retention, and this is the big part of retention. They're our foundation, and without a foundation, you can't stand. So thank you for all of our long-term employees.
Next, Lars Hewitt, Public Services Director.
Well, Aiden, why don't you come on up here? I don't want to talk about someone unless they're standing up here with me, so. And it won't be long, so by the time he gets up here, maybe I'm done, but Aiden, I'll come on up. Aiden Pearson, 15 years, all with Public Services, facilities maintenance lead worker, prior to that a technician, so as a lead worker, he's really the point person on most of the projects. He has a breadth of skill on building systems, HVAC, electrical, you name it, he knows it. So I want to thank him for his 15 years of service, but also uniquely from one Air Force vet to another Air Force vet, I want to thank you for that service as well. So Aiden, thank you very much.
Thanks. Next, we have Scott DeLeon, Water Resources and Public Works Director.
Good morning. I have two employees today. Unfortunately, one was on a scheduled vacation and the other is doing CPR training. So we're happy that she's at that. We'll start with our 20 years of service. This is Joe Matos. Joe is a heavy equipment operator 2 with our department. Been here for 20 years. A lot of his work very few people see because he operates our street sweeper and he has routes all over the county. He does his work early in the morning so as to not disrupt traffic. But a dedicated employee and does a great job for us. So Joseph Matos. Do you want me to do Yulia? Mm-hmm. Okay. The other employee we had is Yulia Osatrova.
Sorry.
There she is. No, but we're partnering with this and you're throwing me under the bus. Yeah. So Yulia is our water resources engineer too. She's been with us 5 years, handles everything water resources engineering related, does a lot of work with our consultants and is at CPR training. So glad that she's been with us for 5 years, and thank you very much, Yulia.
Next, we have Sheriff Martin.
Good morning, thank you. We'll start out with the jail division. We'd like to recognize Deputy Sheriff Corrections Anthony Hodges for his 5 years of service. Anthony started out as a correctional aide and promoted a couple years ago to the rank of Deputy Sheriff Corrections, and is a very influential on a lot of our newer employees out there. So thank you, Anthony. Eugene Ortega is our accountant, one of our accountant twos, primarily works on the jail accounts. As you see in the picture, Eugene's got a big smile on his face. I don't think you'll ever catch him without a smile on his face. Just a joy to be around, and always fun to work with, and always has something nice to say when you run into him. Thank you, Eugene. And speaking of the jail, we like to make sure that the bars stay on the windows. Jeff Dolby is our facilities maintenance technician out there and ensures that happens. The jail is, I like to refer to it as Lake County's largest bed and breakfast, and it has a lot of demanding customers that come to visit. And Jeff, make sure that the facility runs smoothly. And thank you, Jeff, for your 10 years of service. And joining us today is Detective Dean Prater with 10 years of service. Dean is in our major crimes unit. Oh, Jeff's here. I didn't see Jeff back there. Come on up, Jeff.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
With 10 years of service, Dean Prater, he's in our major crimes unit. Dean also assists with the search and rescue. So when people go wandering out in the woods, Dean's available to help find their way home. Dean, come on up.
Sure. Thank you for your service.
Detective Todd Dunya with 15 years of service. I've had the pleasure of working with Todd from the beginning of his law enforcement career. We've had a lot of fun times together. Todd is a pleasure to have in the office. There's a few people around the office that will deal it out back to me as much as I deal it to them, and Todd's one of them. And unfortunately, this is going to be Todd's last Employee Service Award as he's announced his retirement. So I also want to congratulate him on reaching that milestone in his career and getting a service retirement later on this year. There's a lot of homes that are safer. There's a lot of children that have had justice brought to them because of Todd's good work over the years. And if you're a parent, you should be thankful that there's men like this that stand ready to serve in this community. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you for your service.
If you have the unfortunate need to call 911, Anna Silva is one of the people that's likely to answer the phone. One of those, this is probably one of the rare times that you'll see the face of a 911 dispatcher, but that's Anna up there on the screen. For 15 years of service, she's been through all of the fires that we've experienced together in this county. She's dealt with literally thousands of emergency calls over the course of her career, and one of our top-notch, very professional public safety dispatchers, Anna Silva. Thank you for 15 years of service. With 20 years of service, Jason Finley. Jason's been here longer than I have. There's a few people that have. He's one of them. And as far as running the jail, I don't think there's anybody out there that knows more about the ins and outs of running the jail, the various rules and regulations. We have laws we have to follow. We have regs that the state passes down. We have personalities that need to be managed. And Jason's been there through all of it. We've had lots of fun times. We've had an evacuation where we had to move everybody out, and Jason was there for that. I want to thank Jason for his years of service with the Lake County Sheriff's Office and Lake County Jail. This gentleman I've known almost my entire life. I grew up playing baseball with his older brother and hanging around with him, coming around to watch the baseball games. With 25 years of service, our Marine Services Sergeant, Sergeant Andy Davidson, spending all 25 years of his career right here with the Lake County Sheriff's Office. I want to thank him for the countless calls for service that he's had, both on patrol and both out on the streets and out on the lake. Andy Davidson.
Next, we have Social Services, Crystal Markenhead.
Good morning. Good morning, Board. Can we have everybody come up? Yeah, all the staff that have come in today. Let's just go ahead and come on up. I'm not being recognized. Okay. Okay. Good morning. So this morning, I would like to recognize a number of staff from the Department of Social Services. Just to reiterate something that I heard somebody say earlier, it is so important for us to, do what we can to retain our the people that we have employed at the department, and recognizing them here is one way to do that. And we just really value people that join the organization, stay with us, and grow with us. So I'd like to start out with 5 years is Louisa Correa Gray with eligibility. And I don't think Louisa is here. Next, at 10 years, we have Janice Devins, eligibility specialist 2. Jonette Moffett, 10 years, currently serving as Staff Services Analyst 1. 2? 2. Thank you, Jonette. Stephanie Albright, Eligibility Specialist Supervisor. She is not here, but I'd like to thank Stephanie. Bobby Chambliss with Adult Services for 15 years, Social Worker 3. Dina Eddings Green, our Area Agency on Aging Coordinator. Thank you. And last but not least, William Bill Andrade, 20 years as an Eligibility Specialist Supervisor. Thank you.
Next, we have Special Districts.
Good morning, Board. Today we're here to honor and recognize one of our employees, long-term employees, Roberta Castellani. She's been with us for 10 years, and she actually started with the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office in 2011 as an extra help employee in helping them through the tax payment season in December through February. Hired full-time on with our department in the following year, 2012, and has been with us ever since. She was an accounting technician when hired. That job classification was then turned into a utility billing specialist, and that's what she does. She's responsible for the account management of over 11,000 sewer accounts. So she tracks and bills all the sewer accounts for us, generates revenue for our department to help keep us afloat. A wonderful person in the office, very knowledgeable, has a lot of history and understanding of how things work. Great to be around, really friendly. And she's, just a great individual. We are extremely lucky to have her, and just want to thank her for her service.
Next, we have Chair Eddie Crandall to honor our department heads.
All right, so I'll start off with Jonathan Armis, the Animal Control Director. And Jonathan rose through the ranks. He's a younger man, and when he came into the position as Animal Control Director, he has done a lot to bring this department into, he wanted to serve and wanted to do well, and he has done well. I always appreciate his willingness to inform the public. He also is always positive. You know, I just witnessed in a recent meeting with the public that he just, took the questions, even though some frustrated people were making comments, and he just tried to do his best, and always appreciating that. Sometimes he's understaffed, but he makes it happen and does what he can. So thank you, Jonathan, and if you're here, please come up. Maybe I should go up there.
The 5-year awards in HR.
Thank you.
The 5-year awards go to the department directly.
Right, and our next person is Crystal Marketan. She is our social services director, and just working with Crystal, she has oversight of one of the biggest departments, and it also works with our vulnerable community, and just always working with emergency response as well, situations when we have power safety shutoffs, emergencies during fires, things of that nature, always willing to help. I also appreciate anytime there's a situation with, the seniors and I have to give you a call, always willing to call back and do what you can. And so just wanted to, thank you for that, and congratulations on your 5 years.
5-year awards go directly to the department.
They would go
To the departments directly.
All right. Next, we have Rich Ford. Rich Ford is our Assessor Recorder. Always appreciate our discussions. He conducts his trainings with his department quite frequently, always invites us. I'm not sure if we make it, but I know I've made a couple of them, and just always love the discussion with him. He knows in depth, has ideas, is always there, working with his folks, giving them extra cross-training, things like that, always trying to think outside the box, and I really appreciate his service and commitment, and it looks like he'll be with us for 4 more years as well. So, Rich, congratulations. Next is Christopher Veach, 15 years of service, our county librarian, and I just, appreciate, he loves his job. This is a man that loves his job, always thinking of ideas to educate the public with and provide that service for them. Whenever we talk or have discussions, he's like, well, let's try this, let's try that, and works to get some sort of funding to ensure that his department libraries are always open, even willing to provide cooling centers for during situations when it's hot and we don't have spaces to go. So just always willing to help. Not only that, always looking to find ways to better serve the public in his library. And I do appreciate, we came up with a theme song. He hasn't used it yet, but we had a discussion about that too. So Christopher, thank you for your service.
For your service.
All right, thank you. Christopher, you got. Yeah. All right, last but not least, our district attorney for 30 years, Susan Cronus. And, I didn't write anything down because I kind of appreciate the fact that she is an Army veteran as well, and I am, except for she was a captain. I was a non-commissioned officer, but still Army strong, right? Or be all you can be. I'm not sure where they're at now, but Susan, she'll be with us for 4 more years as well. Sometimes has situations where she has to do the cases. She doesn't directly have the privilege to be a complete oversight attorney. She has to take the time and do the work, and help her staff. And so always appreciating that, always appreciating her coming to the public events that we have and working with the public and doing what she can. And so it looks also like she'll be here for 4 more years as well. So Susan, thank you very much for your service and congratulations.
Thank you for
And
your service.
as always, I have to be in court in a few minutes. Thanks, everybody.
All right. So I think that concludes everyone. So again, thank you all for your service. We appreciate the work you do. To be committed the way you are is what holds this county up. It keeps us strong, and we're hoping to get more people like you to do the work that we need to get done in order for this, this to keep moving on. And, so I think we're in a good space. We appreciate employees like you, and so thank you again.